Alrighty. I'm recording from my iPhone today. Mostly because, anyways, where, who, what, and why. A person who doesn't know what the universe is doesn't know where they are. A person who doesn't know their purpose in life doesn't know who they are or what the universe is. A person that doesn't know any one of these things doesn't know why they are here. So, where and who you are is the importance of this day. I spent 2 days doing this one because honestly, it's a tough one. It really is. Think about it. Who are you really? What defines you? These are questions that you have to be able to answer. And I honestly had trouble answering who are you? Who are you? You know, not what do you do, but who are you? And the best concept I could come up with, or the best idea of who one is I could come up with. Now, you may disagree with this, and if you do, that's perfectly fine. I believe that you are the non-biased screen that's influenced by your emotions and thoughts. You know, you are not your thoughts. That I know for sure. Your thoughts, you know, they come on like by waves. It's programmed in your brain based off of, you know, environmental factors. You're the one that observes and reacts to the thoughts and the behaviors and the ideas. When you're able to separate yourself from the thoughts, then you're free. You know, you can't be ashamed of the thoughts that you have. You have to be able to sit back and actually understand that just as you dream, when you dream, you're not controlling your dream unless you really practice that. Your dreams are their own volition. You are experiencing your dream, but you are not your dream. It's an experience that you're having. Just as when you get angry, you're the one that feels the anger, but you are not the anger. You know what I mean? When you're happy, you're the one that feels the joy response, but you're not the one that's happy. You're the one that observes all of these things. You're the observer. That's what I think, anyways. I think I am the observer. And the thing is, when you can separate yourself from those things, then you have more control. And then the question becomes, okay, then what? So you separate yourself. You know, what do you want to do in life? Why are you here? And that's a decision and a question you have to make the answer to on your own. Everyone's will be different, you know, but once you can find that passion, you know, that one thing that you're meant to do, or two things or three things, you know, I believe that everyone is capable of doing something very well. And only those who can truly harness their potential, and there's no such thing as you can always perfect, you can always be better at your potential. It's a learning curve that goes on forever, for as long as you live. And so find what it is that brings you joy on a day. You are the one that gets to decide how you react to external stimuli. You know, you're not the anger, you're not the rage, you're not the sadness. You're the one that gets to choose to be those things, but those things are not inherently you. Now, you know, we all are dealt certain cards in life. We all have our stars, our hands in life. But you are the one that gets to choose how those stars influence your behavior. You don't get to choose the external. You only get to choose the internal. So you are the internal observer. So like on the last day, the last day was about having an idea in mind of a potential goal, but being okay if the goal changes and weaves, you know. For example, like we used the boat metaphor, so I'm going to go back to that. Yesterday we said, you know, if you're out in the ocean and you have no destination point, then you're wandering the ocean forever. And within that scenario, you are the guy or girl, you're the person within the boat that is observing the ocean. Why are you in the boat observing the ocean? Because that's where you choose to be in life. You choose to strengthen yourself. And so in order to strengthen yourself, you have to be okay with change. Life will forever be changing. You have to not only be okay, but the hammering the hammering of steel forges the metal, and you are being forged by life events. And so you're choosing a goal that's beyond storms, waves, potential hurricanes, whatever is in the way. But when you get to the other side, you will be better for it. So that is the why. It's to humble yourself and to be a better person is the why for me. Why am I doing this? Because I want to be humbled. I want to get rid of the ego. And I want to be the best person I can possibly be to help others. That's the why for me. So who are you? This one, like I said, it took me 2 days of meditating on because it was really asking multiple questions of you. And at first I was like, okay, I am a guy that likes to write. Well, those are things I do. That's not who you are. Those are things you do. You should always ask, why do you like to write? Well, I like to write because, I like fantasy things. I like to imagine things. I like, you know what I mean? And you're like, why do you like to imagine things? Well, I like to imagine things because it makes me less irritable and have less anxiety in my real life because I'm no longer focused on the things that cause me anxiety. And then you're like, well, why do you let things cause you anxiety in your real life? Well, I let things cause me anxiety in my real life because I care too much. I care about reaching the potential of not reaching a future that I want. Why do you care about not reaching a potential future that you want? The future's not written yet. You don't know. You may reach it, you may not, but having anxiety over it will not change the outcome. And it goes down layer by layer by layer by layer by layer by layer, and it keeps going until you get to the core of the issue where why is no longer applicable. And that's why it took 2 days, because I had to continue to ask those two questions and really take one layer off, go one more layer down. Take one layer off, go one more layer down. And I suggest you, if you're on this day, maybe it's going to take you a couple of days. They say to take 1 day with each of these, but honestly, maybe some of them require more time to really get to the root of the answer. And if that's the case, spend a couple days, spend 3 days meditating on one thing. Heck, spend as much time as you feel like you need to meditate on these things. I would suggest at least a day, at least 24 hours. But if you feel like you need 48, 72, a week, a month to really investigate the stoic thought of the day and to really get to the heart of what it's asking you, then that's okay too. And so I'm assuming at this point you've got the books, but I'm still going to put this out there because some of you may not. I am talking about the Daily Stoic. You can get it on Audible, ebook, Amazon, or local bookstores. If you happen to come across this, consider this a companion piece, something that can be used in order to better reflect my thoughts on the day, and that can be used to understand not everyone's going to agree. And it's okay to have an open dialogue about these things because we learn from each other. I can learn from you, you can learn from me. And you may interpret these things differently than me. And that is perfectly okay. And in fact, I hope you do interpret things differently than me, because I want to be able to see from someone else's perspective and learn even more and learn better. I will learn better from other perspectives as well. and humble me. If you think I'm wrong about something, tell me. I will admit it, you know? Like, I posted a stoic quote on Instagram, and a guy responded back saying, "This coming from a guy living in his mother's basement." And for a second, I felt anger rise, and then I felt my insecurity rise, and then I felt my, like my ego get hurt. And I was like, you know what? My ego needs to be hurt because it doesn't need to be there. I don't need the ego. And so I responded back saying, I don't live in in my mother's basement. I live with my grandma. And if you knew me better, you would also include my obsessive eating of food and my laziness. And so, I responded back with kindness, because when you're able to admit your faults, and when someone calls you out on a fault, you don't tell them that they're wrong, because that's the way they perceive you. What you do is ask yourself, okay, that's how they're perceiving me. Is there truth to that? And if there is truth to that, you have to be humbled by it. You can't get angry and say, oh, they're just being a Karen or a Kyle, or, oh, they're just rage baiting on the internet. No, there's truth to things that people say. And you have to be able to be humbled enough to say, you know what, I'm being criticized, and yeah, there's evidence there that supports what they're saying, or there's not. Either way, you have to look at it from a neutral perspective, and you have to let the ego go. Anyways, this has been Darth Blint. I hope you subscribe and follow, and share this out to anyone you think needs to be humbled, or could use the support of stoicism in their lives. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.